Just quickly on this report from Shams earlier, stating that the Warriors offered Klay around a 2-year, $48 million contract prior to the start of the season. Interesting, because I think Klay and his management were right to balk at that offer at the start of the season, because looking back at it at the time, Klay would have seen that Draymond just got 4-year 100, and I think he would have thought that he could have got around that same mark. And I think I and a lot of fans could have thought that he would get around that same mark, which is $20 to $25 million a season. Let's say that's still a huge cut off the $43.2 million he's making this season. So that's still a huge cut. But I think that's what he would have looked for at the start of the season. And now, the further this season goes, the more that 2-year, $48 million contract is actually lining up to his worth. Where going forward here, if he continues to play like this, or even if he's just slightly better, just the decline that we've seen from last season, where he's 22 points a game, 40% 3-point shooting, 42% 3-point shooting, now he's 15.4 points per game, less than 40% from the field, 34.3%, I think, from 3-point range. The decline we've seen on both ends of the floor. You'd be hesitant as any team, let alone the Warriors or another prospective franchise, you'd be hesitant to give out a 3 or 4 year contract based on the decline you've seen over the last 6 to 8 months here. So, how does the Klay thing play out? I wouldn't trade Klay. I wouldn't put him up. I'd just be like, all right, we're running with you. That doesn't mean that you're going to be closing every game. I think for the moment, he's still a guaranteed starter. I would have him still as a guaranteed starter. And maybe I'm just too loyal. And maybe, the romantic side of sport I delve a little bit too much into. Maybe that's the case. But I wouldn't trade him. I wouldn't even offer him. Unless you're getting I said it on last episode, unless you're getting a top 15 player in the league, which you're just not. You're not getting a top 15 player for Klay Thompson and whatever assets you want to put in. You're not getting a top 15 player. So I just wouldn't put him up at all. I just hold on to him. And if he wants to leave in free agency, if he's had enough, wants to leave, then so be it. And at least that's his decision. Because I think he's earned, with what he's done for the franchise, he's earned the right for it to be his decision, whatever it may be. Now, in terms of the contract offer that you might propose to him in free agency, it might even be less than that 2-year 48. I might even say, all right, 2-year 45 or 3-year 60. And if you want to come back, we want you back. That's the number. And there is no guarantee that you're starting. There's no guarantee that you're closing games. There's no guarantee that you're playing more than 20 to 25 minutes. However, the opportunity will still be there for you if you are good enough. You're just going to have to earn it. And I think that's more than reasonable. And I think that's more than reasonable for Klay. Especially if he wants to finish his career as a Warrior. But I think he's earned the right for it to be his decision. So I would not be trading him. And that's the kind of offer I'd be giving to him in free. That would be my pitch in free agency. We want you. Here's the contract. 2-year 45 or 3-year 60. Here it is. But don't expect to be starting every single game across the course of the contract. Don't expect to be closing every single game. Unless you prove that you are good enough and still good enough. So that is what I'd be doing with Klay. Leaving it up to him. If he wants to leave, at least the franchise can say that was his decision. Now, Klay might turn around and say, well, the contract offer you gave me was disrespectful, so I had no other choice. I don't think you're getting more than $25 million a season from any other team right now in the league. So I don't think that contract offer would be disrespectful at all. I think that would be market value for Klay Thompson right now. What other team out there with cap space is giving him $25+ million a season? What team's giving him a 3 or 4 year contract on that kind of money? There's no team out there right now based on current form. So that contract offer is not disrespectful at all. I think it's fair to both parties. That's what I'd be. But we're still a long way away, right? We are still got 60 games left to go in the season before that happens, and anything could happen in the meantime.